Hey guys, before we jump into this interview, I want to say something that's really important. There was a time in my own healing journey where recovery stories were my absolute lifeline, and I know that if you're going through this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When my body felt unsafe and my symptoms were loud, hearing what someone else had been through and that they had recovered gave me the hope that I needed to keep going. And that's exactly why I wanted to record this conversation. The person you're about to hear from healed over 70 symptoms, including extreme food restriction, ulcerative colitis, and extreme nervous system overload and fear. And he healed this using a nervous system based approach that deeply aligns with the work that I teach today. We did not sit down and script this. We did not compare notes beforehand. It's all raw and real. What you'll hear is someone who found their way out by teaching their body safety. The same core principles that I have seen again and again and again in real healing and recovery. So when you listen, I hope that you listen not from a place of comparison, but from a place of possibility and hope. This interview is here to remind you that there is nothing wrong with you, and you, yes, you, can also heal. All right, let's get into it. All right, hello everyone. Today's interview is super exciting to me. I have here with me Helmut. He recovered from over 70 plus symptoms. And so I really wanted to share his story with you guys here today because it is so inspiring. It's an amazing journey that he's been through, and it shows you that you can heal, you can get through this, you can recover. And so I just want to say shout out to Helmut for coming on here today to share your story. Thank you so much. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. So excited. So let's get into like the nitty-gritty of it because a
Mhm.
lot of people think, okay, but does he have this symptom? Does he have that symptom? You've had a ton of them. So
Yeah,
if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what you experienced, and then we'll get more into how you recovered.
I had I'd say about two perfect storms, one in 2016, 17, and another one in 2020. The first one was like 25 symptoms, and the second was around 70 symptoms. So throughout those two, I had triple PD, a lot of dizziness. I felt like I was always falling. I was like on a boat that was like I was drunk or off balance. Eyes felt uh, the blurriness. I had the blurriness. The eyes, they felt like there was a lot of pressure in my eyes, and it always felt like my eyes were going like this.
Hmm.
Um, what else is there? Oh yeah, food sensitivities. I had two safe foods. Rice and beef was my main go-to. I couldn't eat anything that was left in the fridge for 24 hours or a certain amount of time. And if I did, I'd go into a crazy, well, I'd say crash for two weeks. So severe symptoms, ulcerative colitis. So there's some autoimmune element into that. Um, Anxiety, OCD, looping thoughts, intrusive thoughts. This is like looping on thoughts, like every 3 seconds. I couldn't stop the looping. It was just constant. Um, I had like my own safe room where I would just pace back and forth and just try to figure things out and be obsessed with my symptoms and how I was feeling. Um, it was a constant terror, the
Hmm.
sensations. I was in constant feeling of terror, and I thought like, what's going on with me? I thought it was a special case. I also had pelvic floor pain, so stabbing pain sensations in my rectum and tailbone pain, testicle pain. Uh, Going to the washroom was difficult. It was like a wall was put
Hmm.
there, so I couldn't pass my stool, so I had to help it by putting um, a finger caught with coconut oil, and I did that for a year and a half. Um, what else is there? There's a bunch of things
Yeah.
that half of them you don't know the names for.
Yep.
And gastritis, uh, chest pains, chest sensations, all kind of chest sensations, head sensations. Um, yeah, all the mental alarms, all the physical alarms that you can imagine that would move around, and it was just yeah, insane. I'm sure if we were to talk about stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, I had that
Yeah,
too.
because you forget, like as you heal, you forget, oh yeah, I forgot that I had that symptom, right?
Well, that's the thing. When I talk about this stuff, I have to almost take 5 minutes. It's like you know those people that channel entities. They have to
Hmm.
get into it and channel that, and I have to go back in time and tap into my
Yeah.
past. for 5 minutes, and then I remember.
Yeah.
Because when you heal, it there's no point for the brain to send you these alarms anymore because we've moved through them, we turned them all off. So there's right, it's not something that I'm constantly needing to bring up the details, even though I do this for work.
Hmm.
The details of that second by second, I'm not constantly needing to live in it, and it doesn't want to give the attention
Hmm.
for it anymore. It's
It's
like, no,
not
we don't need to.
important.
We don't. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
bored of it. Okay, you want to talk about that again? Okay, well, I don't. You don't need to look for the liger. There's no more tigers there. We're
Yeah.
good. Like we're so. Yeah, I have to tap into it just to remember.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So basically, you went through the ringer. You had a ton of things. Was it just like an explosion of symptoms, or was there like a lead up to it?
I would say for since since I was 30, I had like a slow lead up to symptoms. I had
Hmm.
diverticulitis. I had a couple things here and there, but they were manageable. They would come and go. And
Hmm.
then 2015, 2013, I had ulcerative colitis. So then I managed it with medications. So life wasn't stopping, but you get two, five that you manage.
Hmm.
But then I had my first perfect storm, and somehow I was able to manage that. It went from 25 back down to like five. I I think it was just I forced myself to go to work,
Hmm.
and I lived with it. And I don't know really how I, managed to have it quiet down.
Hmm.
Um, but then my second perfect storm, when you're hit with all these symptoms, I thought I was a special crazy freak show case,
Hmm.
right? I'm like trying to explain it to doctors, my parents, to people. They're like they don't understand, right? They're
Yeah.
like, my mom was like, "Oh, it's anxiety, Helmut." I'm like, yeah, but come on, like this is crazy. I can't like overnight. Yeah, it was like that. Overnight, most of the symptoms came. Like
Hmm.
you'd have five, and then all of a sudden, like a light switch went off.
Yeah.
It was like, well, here's the other 65 plus. And I probably had more than 75 symptoms. I probably had like 100, but
Hmm.
they rotate. Some of them come and go, and you don't know the names of them,
Yeah.
and they might last for only a couple of days or something. So I thought I was a freak show. I didn't know what was going on. I remember some of the symptoms that I had, thinking, I remember I used to judge people for having this stuff and thinking that they were just looking for attention, that it's bullshit,
Yeah.
right? I was that guy going, yeah, okay, whatever, right? What a freak show.
Yeah.
And now it was me, and I was in disbelief. Like there was shock. There was a time where I was like, this isn't happening. This is
Hmm.
must be a dream. A couple times I was slapping myself in the face trying to wake up from the dream, and it was just more real every time I tried to wake up from it.
Hmm.
But but I think there was a period where I had to have no answers because I used to resort back to the carnivore diet. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just carnivore it away, or I'll fast it away like I always do, and I'll win. Like this is my go-to. And I tried that, and nothing changed. So I was like, well, what now? That scared me even more. So then, you go down the rabbit holes again. And the thing is, I went down rabbit holes the first perfect storm, and that was a nightmare, exhausting. And I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But then
Hmm.
you do, and it made things worse, and you have no answers. And I think I needed to have no answers so that I would try everything and nothing would work and make things worse, so that I would have to force myself to look within,
Yes.
right? Because that was a part of the awakening. And like you mentioned earlier, before you pressed record, um, it was like I remember running down the hallways, just screaming, asking for help from anybody, my guides,
Hmm.
God, anybody, right? And then it showed up in one of these toxic Facebook groups.
Hmm.
Um, Somebody's talking about, oh, I'm able to eat 11 foods. And for me, that was the best thing in the world. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I can live a life somewhat if I have 11 foods. I'll be okay with that. And like 5 minutes later, it got deleted, of course, like these groups do.
Yeah.
But then, right? So then I got into the mind body space. Luckily, after 3 months of no answers,
Hmm.
finally, it's like, okay, he's ready. Here, give him the start, stepping
Yeah.
stone. Here you go. Here's your path. That's all we're gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Yep. It's like you have to like grasp, you're like trying to find the answers outside of yourself, right? Like what protocol do I need? What supplement do I need? What can I do to fix this? And you need to go through all that to realize that none of it is the answer. And
Right.
then you eventually realize the answer is actually in you. You've had that answer all along. It's just
Yep.
like so hard to see because we're taught like to fix things, right? We need to control and manage and fix things or take a pill for this or a supplement for that. And we have more power than we've been led to believe. So,
And it's interesting when we go down these rabbit holes of like fixing the gut or the motherfucker gene or the mitochondria this or the detoxing that. Um, there was a bit of a knowing that says this doesn't make sense,
hmm.
but it
Yeah.
seems complex, so it must be true. So anything that was sciencey, complex, I latched onto because it must be true, right?
Hmm.
Somebody in a white lab coat with glasses is telling me, or somebody with an accent, a German accent or a British accent, well,
Hmm.
this must be true, and then you latch onto it,
Yeah.
and then the answer, your voice is saying, no, it's probably a lot easier, right? And then you hear it a couple of times, and you're like, no, it can't be that, it can't be that
Hmm.
simple, that's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. You think like there's no way that the answer is like that I have the ability to heal myself. Like, how is that possible? But it
It gets
truly is.
annoying. It's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. We
Yeah.
can heal it. Our brain's powerful, right? Is that what you're gonna? Yeah, our brain's very
Yeah.
powerful. It's all in your head,
Yeah.
right? We can create miracles within ourselves. Like I got tired of that.
Yeah.
So like you just need to start grounding. So I started hugging trees. I started,
Hmm.
right? That didn't work either. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's hard to believe that you have the power in you because that's almost scary, right? When you face it and you're like, "Ooh, what does this mean? Like what's going to happen? Is it going to change my personality completely? Am I going to, erase myself? Like what does this mean?" And it feels scary to people, but it's actually not as scary as it seems, and you become more you than ever.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And it is a journey. It is the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Hmm.
But when you look back, um, when you look at the things that actually work, even in the mind body space, there's a lot of things you got to filter out. But
Hmm.
you need to do the wrong things,
Hmm.
right? Even in the functional medicine, even in the detoxes and all that garbage, I'm happy that I did those things because I was finally ready for the thing to click and work, and I was committed,
Hmm.
right? Because if you're not committed, this doesn't work, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes I tell people they come to me like, yeah, but if I feel like they're unsure, I'm like, go do that thing. Oh,
Hmm.
I don't know what you're thinking of doing because you're see, I don't want you to be wishy-washy.
Hmm.
Because if you're wishy-washy, you're not going to do the work, and then you'll fail at it, and you'll never give it a chance, a solid chance. So go do that thing and come back to me when you're ready. And they kind of
Yes.
confused. They're like, really?
Yeah.
And some of them do. They go. And then some of them come back and then they're ready, right?
Yep, it's an important piece is like trying out what you think might fix it to realize that it's not the answer so that you can put 100% of your belief and your trust into this work,
Yeah.
this mind body work and uh, allowing basically and healing the symptoms based on your response to them.
Yeah.
One question I have for you is some people might say like, why did he get all these symptoms all of a sudden? Like what led to this? Do you have like a bit of a backstory as to like why you think this happened?
I would say, well, I'll tell you my traditional stuff, right? A lot of toxic relationships
Hmm.
and work environments that were really stressful,
Hmm.
toxic friends, life events, right? And then you get a couple of symptoms, and then you take the medications for the symptoms, and the symptoms traumatize you, right? And then here we go, right? I was in that survival state at 1,000 because life events eventually, right? 10 years old, whatever. That one last relationship was the last drop in the camel's toe, right?
Hmm.
So it hardwired me into survival. And every drop, right? It adds
Killed it.
up.
Yeah.
So it's not so much the last thing was my surgery or what other people they go, well, it was the long COVID. Well, it was
Hmm.
the mold. Well, it was the right, but it's like that was just a tipping point. That was just the last drop. You have to think about it was all these things
Yes, exactly.
that filled our
Exactly.
capacity and our allostatic load, and now your stress bucket's full and things are overwhelming. And the alarms are screaming at you, which are the symptoms. They're trying to
Hmm.
tell you, hey, mayday, mayday, make some changes. let's empty this stuff so we can get back to life.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's just like all this stuff over the years that was never actually dealt with. And people either, they're trying to fix it, they're shoving it away, they're resisting it. They're like, "Oh, I'll deal
Yeah.
with that later." And eventually it leads up to that. And then
Well, when you're young, you're resilient, right?
yes,
For me,
yes.
I was
Yeah.
a binge drinker for 10 years. I smoked
Hmm.
cigarettes every time I drank, and I was, you know, the weekends were the best because you could party hard with
Yep.
all your friends and just keep drinking. And, you wake up the next day, let's do it again,
Yep.
right? That adds up to that bucket, but you don't see it right away, but you're gonna pay for it in time,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, been there for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so what would you say turned you in the right direction? Like, what was the moment you were like, oh, wait, I think that I'm onto something here, and you started the healing process?
With the mind body space, do you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, when that person posted that, she mentioned DNRS.
Hmm.
So I started looking into DNRS and the success stories, and I saw, the freaks that were in the success stories. They were like me. I saw Brea Katrin, her success story, and I thought she's just like me. A lot of the things are very similar. This is crazy. And she healed. Like look at her. She's running, eating foods. Like, and then I saw I binge watched all the success stories,
Hmm.
and it felt good. I needed that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up because I've tried everything, whatever. So I signed up and I devoted my time to it. And this was like I was a person that never devoted myself to anything. I was always a guy that was a dreamer, pipe
Hmm.
dreams, had no discipline for nothing, lazy, right? And the fear, I must say, I'm very grateful I had lots of fear to kick my ass
Hmm. It's a good
because,
motivator.
oh, it is
Yeah.
because I was worried about not being able to do all the things that I wanted to do with being a dad, a husband, all the things that you dream about, the things that you want to do with, the dream house, the dream job, all that stuff. And your hopes and dreams feel like they're gone, just like
Hmm.
that. So this gave me hope, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this 1,000%. I'm not gonna miss a day, and I didn't. So I did, the brain retraining. I got into the brain retraining world. I got a couple of coaches, which I think they weren't very, very good, but whatever. I had to go through it.
Hmm.
I surrounded myself in the community, other people, um, and I was doing good for, I'd say, 8 months. I started healing a lot of physical things, but I did notice the more I healed physically, the more my mental alarms skyrocketed.
Hmm.
And I find my opinion, I don't think DNRS um, is teaches really how to handle that. I think it's like a big elephant in the room, the OCD elephant in the room. They kind of tuck that behind with distraction avoidance and stop,
Hmm.
stop, stop. So it got worse and worse and worse. And it wasn't a good worse, right? Because this journey, things get worse. This was just like worse and stuck. You're not
Hmm.
moving anywhere. And it was too bad because I was really holding on to that tightly, right? And I was very triggered to have to think about jumping ship, trying
Hmm.
something else. And I didn't want to do that. But I had a person named Simona. She posted her success story on the DNRS forum. And she put in the comments, I'm recovered because people did that. They celebrated their success and people could be like, oh my goodness, right? Then you talk to them in the DMs, whatever. And then she said, I'm glad that I recovered, but I have to say I did use different protocols that were a little different. So I hope my message doesn't get deleted. And I'm shocked that hers didn't get deleted because it
Yeah.
went against the community guidelines. And she talked about that she instead of distracting, she would sit. I remember her saying, I would sit in the fear. And that's all she said, right? And I was like, whoa, 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 that's weird. It makes sense though. It's intriguing. So then I
Hmm.
messaged her and I'm just happy that she took my messages. And she's like, look into the Dare app and look into what was it? ERP ERP type of work, right?
Hmm.
So then I looked into it. I'm like, this sounds like a lot of Claire Weeks stuff. So then, because I remember Claire Weeks, I used that a year before for anxiety stuff, and I totally forgot about it, but it
Hmm.
worked.
Yep.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dive deep into this stuff, and I trust it because there is evidence she recovered. Yes, she used a little bit of DNRS, and yes, she used this other thing over here. and
Mm-hmm.
she had the same symptoms as me, and she's in the sidelines, so I could trust. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. She said, and she would say, you can use both in combination. They support each other. I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that. That's good. So then I went headfirst into, you know, trying to respond differently with the way I responded. Instead of resisting, I took away the resistance. And then I started to introduce myself into integrating and allowing. So it was first taking away the resistance, letting it be there without fixing, analyzing, trying to get rid of. Um, and then I would just let it sit on my shoulder instead of, um, resisting it, because what you resist persists. And that
Mm-hmm.
was my thing. I'm like, no wonder why everywhere I went, I was looping hardcore because I was trying to get rid of making deals with it, analyzing things. I had my safe room where I was analyzing things. Somebody could say one word and I'd loop on it for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started to allow those thoughts to be there without getting rid of them, and it shifted everything. Then there was things that I started to dive in deep with exposure. I would expose myself to things I normally would run away from. And it sucked, but I
Mm-hmm.
started moving forward in my recovery really quickly. And I noticed that some of the people in the forums that were there for 5 years, the ones that I was getting advice from, I was started to lap them. And then I was like, okay, I'm onto something. This is great,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
And then I started sharing some of the stuff, and they started changing my messages on the forum. They started deleting them, and then they kicked me out. So I got deleted and booted off the forum. But anyway, it was just interesting how some of the people were still doing certain ways, and it made me realize, look, no wonder why they're stuck. Look how many of them are stuck. And some of them are, 5, 6 years still looping on things. I'm like, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not. The evidence is there. You used to loop on this. Now you don't. Now you're indifferent. Now these symptoms are gone. These alarms are off. This is incredible. I'm like, it's just a matter of time before everything goes away. So I
Yeah.
just started getting into the work. Setbacks were severe.
Mm-hmm.
They were hard, but I still had that knowing, yeah, I see the end of the tunnel. So let the setbacks come. But they really tested you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was it. I just went with the flow, and eventually recovery came, and I had no more symptoms. I had freedom.
Beautiful. Love that. So
Yeah.
cool. I love that, you kind of had to tailor your own approach and like figure out some things on your own with like, little bits here and there of what you saw other people go through, like Simona.
Yep.
And finding the Dare app, that was like a huge thing for me too. And recovery from anxiety was like, face it, and the first time you hear like, just let it be there, let yourself feel it, it seems like that is the complete opposite of what I want to do. And it's like, oh, like that doesn't feel
But
right.
it's so intriguing too. It's like,
Mhm. Yeah, it's like, what?
yes, okay,
Yeah.
so I can do something about this, right? And there were times where I would face it and bring it in. And I could feel it dissolve in my chest. I'm like, this
Hmm.
is amazing. This is so powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I did become a guinea pig. You have the guidance, but the thing is, you have to take action,
Hmm.
become your own guide, become the guinea pig, experiment, and then you find your own flow. And
Hmm.
that's the ultimate way. You become your own, mindful gardener in a way, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I had to do, because you can take so much guidance from people, but it's at the end of the day, you got to do it. You got to find out, right?
Exactly. Yep. So what advice would you give to someone who's like, let's say they're several months or a year and a half or whatever into their journey and they've seen like little changes, but all of a sudden their flares are getting bigger or things are almost feeling worse than better because I know that can happen too.
I usually ask a couple of questions first. I'm like, are you dealing with any environmental situations that have changed? Are you having life stresses with family? Are
Hmm.
you in a relationship that you need to get out of? Is something new happen in your life? If they say, no, I'm actually in a great relationship, they're
Hmm.
supportive, everything is calm. Okay, I'll be like, well, are you doing the work? Are you doing the visualizations, the walk and talks? Are you doing the elevating? Are you allowing through the day?
Hmm.
Right? If they say, okay, there's a couple of things, then you can usually see what the behavior pattern is, and then you
Hmm.
catch the behavior pattern. You go, oh, do you see what you're doing here? You're responding, you're avoiding, you're distracting, you're
Yep.
bypassing, you're putting ice packs under your arms to avoid the anxiety. You're
Yep.
trying to tap away stuff. You're trying to do the activate the vagus nerve to get rid of what you're feeling. You're fixing. You see what you're doing? Like, oh, okay, like that's be aware of it.
Hmm.
Instead, sit with it and allow it and feel it and let it and process it. And that usually makes a shift. And then if they're doing all those things and they're getting worse, that's when I go with confidence. So you covered all your bases. Okay. Okay, this is good. This is normal.
Hmm.
Things are going to get worse. It's supposed to. You need them to get worse. Actually, you need
Hmm.
more symptoms because now they become opportunities for you to update the system. So, congratulations. This is the shit club. This is how it works. Keep
Yeah.
going. This is amazing. Keep going. And it's like, oh,
Yes.
okay. So I
Yeah.
make sure you cover all the bases first. Then it's like, okay, this is a good bad.
Yes, love that. I love that because that's a lot of people don't know that it can be common sometimes to have things get a little louder before they resolve, as long as, like you said, you are doing the work, there's no outside stressors that are extra on you.
Yeah,
Sometimes it does shout a lot louder before it was like, oh, okay, never mind. Like, we are actually safe. It is actually okay. So,
exactly.
yeah.
They just need that person to say, this is normal. And then they just go,
Yes. Yes.
right? And the thing is, I also tell them, you need more of these. So you build history in a relationship so that when it happens again, you'll know it. You see it coming, you'll be like, I know you.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is good. So that's the point of the journey also. It's not just getting rid of symptoms. It's the journey is to for you to see the patterns and get familiar and build that leverage of indifference. So that's why it took me 3 years, right? Because
Hmm.
I need to have that one thing come in and out, so I can see it. Oh, I see you. I see. Okay, all right. You're part of my furniture. I'm embracing you. You're my friends now, and I see all the patterns. So this gives me confidence and trust to keep going, and that's it. So
Hmm.
it's the patterns and the trusts that come with when it comes more often, and you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Beautiful. It's almost beautiful. Like when you look back on it, it's like that was hard, that was hell, that was like a really shitty time, but at the same time, it was so fucking beautiful. Like it's
Yeah.
it's so weird how it all works out.
It's impressive. It's like, holy shit, did I do that?
Yeah.
Wow. I need a
Yeah.
fucking pat on the back. I need a street named after me, right? I need my own island. They should be giving me a check for $10 million, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
this is crazy.
Yeah. And one thing that I've always loved about you is your sense of humor. Like, I think it's awesome to have a sense of humor with these things. Would you
Yeah.
say that that's something that carried you through or something that kind of came out more as you healed?
Well, it came more as I healed. My sense
Hmm.
of humor, I used to have a sense of humor most of my life, but during this
Hmm.
time, it kind of died. It kind of went,
Hmm.
ugh, right?
Yeah.
But it started to peak while I was going through this journey. I was like, oh, I'm coming back to myself. This is
Yeah.
amazing, right? So then you come back to yourself and you want to share this story. And I think it's good because when you use humor, you make things a little bit light
Hmm.
and people are willing to laugh because they see the evidence that you overcame it. Then it's
Hmm.
okay. Then I can fucking laugh about this because it's not dangerous. It's okay. He did it, so I can. Okay, but if I didn't recover and I laughed about it, people might be like, "Okay, I don't want to. Why am I laughing about it? This is so fucked up and sad. I don't want to laugh, right?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's safety there, right? So
Yeah.
go ahead. You're allowed to laugh. You're not a special case. You're gonna recover.
Yeah. And it helps like for you to not take it so seriously. Like it feels very serious, right? Because a part
Yeah.
of you thinks you're in like immediate danger, but honestly, it's okay to have a laugh. It's okay to make fun of it a bit. It kind of loosens you up a bit and you go, okay, like this isn't the end of my life. This is a temporary thing that I'm going through, and it's okay to kind of let my guard down a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you can laugh about it, it shows, okay, well, this isn't as dangerous as it is what I thought. Okay, I got this. Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of cool.
Hmm.
Thank you. I needed that, right? I need that because we surround ourselves with so many smokes and mirrors of seriousness and fear that, it's nice to know that it's all bullshit that,
Hmm.
right? We can heal. So it's okay, yeah, I'll laugh. I'm gonna
Yeah.
laugh, right? So it's nice.
I'll laugh a little nervously, but I'll laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
One thing that I know I've seen a lot of people wonder about is during that time, how were your relationships affected? I know that you said you're a dad, you're a husband. How did that
Yeah.
affect your relationships and like how did you navigate that?
Uh, well, with my wife, it was difficult because she didn't understand what's going on. And it was like, we get married and then he gets sick. So it's like, you
Hmm.
know, it was really difficult on the marriage. It was very, very hard
Hmm.
because she didn't understand. right? And I couldn't give her an answer. I didn't know when I was going to recover. It was like, hurry up and heal,
Yeah.
right? It was like desperation to heal so that my marriage doesn't fall apart. So
Hmm.
I had to shift that and go, I got to think about myself. Even with my daughter, I had to talk with her. I'm like, I got to focus on myself, right? And she didn't care. She's like, I'll just hang out with my friends, whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Because I felt guilty. So I had to take care of myself, be a little bit selfish,
Hmm.
and then later on, I'd make up for it because I would be there.
Yeah.
And I also had to create a bubble, cut some of my friends out,
Hmm.
cut social media out. My family, my mom, she was there also, but then she was also a trigger for me, so I had to keep a certain sweet balance with her. Um, and you got to learn to manipulate people. Don't tell people what you're doing, what program you're doing, that you're doing this brain retraining thing. I got mast cell activation syndrome. I got this thing
Hmm.
here. Don't tell people anything because it just gives them ammo to throw it in your face and
Yeah.
to give you doubt, right? They'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that sounds stupid. You shouldn't be." No, I've heard about that. I heard, and Sally died using that. Don't you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So people
Yeah.
will, shit on your journey, and they'll tell you everybody's a guru, right? No, check this
Hmm.
link out. You got to heal your gut. You have
Yeah.
to heal your gut, right?
Yeah.
So you'll, f- so think ahead. Go. I have anxiety. People go for that. People get it. I'm dealing with anxiety. I need to get off my phone. I'm always on my phone. I'm going to start going on walks. Then people will be like, okay, we're here. We'll support you. So that means he's not going to be texting me all the time. That's okay. So you
Hmm.
kind of have to manipulate your friends, right? The
Yeah.
toxic ones, and tell them, I'm going to take some time away. I need actually reel them in, go, I need your support through this still. So that they
Hmm.
go, okay, yeah, yeah, I will. Because if you don't, they'll think, who do you think you are? Yeah, okay, it's all in your head. You're such an, right? Then they reel you in and it becomes a thing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I had to um, manipulate them, which is, I know it's what you got to do. And then eventually, when I recovered, I was able to cut some people out and
Hmm.
purge them and change because you become a different person, everything changes, and you have the capacity to handle cutting people out. Because sometimes, when you're going through this journey, you can't handle that.
Hmm.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and it probably becomes more apparent, right? Like this person was actually very toxic for me, was like adding to my allostatic load. So I don't want them in my life. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah, you notice that during the journey when before you didn't notice that. It's like all of a sudden you
Hmm.
become this big radar of toxicity. You're like, oh man, this person's too much. How did I allow myself to be around them so much? No, I got to cut them out. Oh, I got to, and then you cut them out, you feel so good. You're like, oh,
Hmm.
get the hell out. I don't care who's right or wrong. If I'm, if because sometimes you'll get a backlash. They'll be like, who do you
Hmm.
think he's such an asshole? Who does he think he's on a pedestal? What are we beneath him? Fuck. And I'm like, I don't care if you think that. That's cool. I
Hmm.
I just care that you're not in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so if you had any advice to give to someone who's they're kind of like peeking in the window of this possible mind-body journey. Like they don't know what's wrong with them. They have all these symptoms going on. They're thinking, should I go on a certain diet? Should I, take a bunch of supplements? Like, what do I do here? And then they hear about, the mind-body allow method, all that stuff. But they feel really scared and unsure. What kind of advice would you give someone in the beginning of the journey?
I'd say keep it simple. Just do the work and stabilize. Put all the things of fixing on the shelf for now. You can even make a deal with yourself, right? If you want to heal the gut, tell yourself, in 2 years, I'll come back to you and then I'll heal the gut. But by
Hmm.
then you won't need to because your gut will be the best.
Hmm.
But make that deal and so that you can focus on the work. Because that's the most important thing that you show up every day, never miss a day. So we want to stabilize the nervous system, get it back from, from survival
Hmm.
at 1,000 in the red zone back down to standby, back to zero. And that takes dedication and it takes focus. So get yourself out of anything that takes your focus away. Keep it very simple because
Hmm.
trust me, the simple work is going to be the hardest thing you ever do in your life. So if you're looking for the catch, that's the catch. It's going to be hard. So
Hmm.
keep it simple. Allow when you can. Stick to a routine and just be patient and know that just because you have symptoms does not mean that you're failing.
Hmm.
From beginning to end, symptoms will pop up right up to the end. It's game on. It doesn't mean nothing.
Hmm.
So When they come up, it doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're going backwards. Just keep going. No matter what, keep going. And yeah, keep it simple. And the deep work, if there's deep work, trauma work, I would say wait till you're recovered to get into that because then you have the
Yeah.
capacity to do it. We don't want to overwhelm the system. Um, yeah, the shadow work, the deep work, any of that stuff that comes later when you're at a place where you can handle it and you're stabilized and you're not desperate to heal. You're not in that survival state, right? So
Hmm. Yeah.
once you're in the state of ease, then go ahead and look into the trauma work or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and so a lot of people think that like it's necessary to dig into their trauma to heal, like it's something they have to do or they'll never feel better. Would you say that it's necessary to stabilize and heal to dig into that?
I wouldn't because it's literally it could flood you and then you
Mhm.
go backwards and you stay stuck. You can heal the now alarms, right? That's what I did. I healed the now alarms, and you might get to a point where you don't really feel like digging. You just want to go live life for a couple of years. And when you start to open some patterns up, maybe the people pleasing or the perfectionist stuff, you can do it in a place where you're the curious observer. You can take time with it. There's
Mhm.
no sense of urgency about it. And you can take also pause it and go, yeah, I think I did enough inner work for a month. I'm going to go live life for a bit and I'll come back to it next month. So it's more quality, more you're aware of it, more instead of you're more, yeah, that's true. Okay, I'm gonna see why do I do that? Why do I keep right? You
Yeah.
take time with it. And I think that goes works a lot better than having
Yeah.
too much stuff on your plate, right? If you have too much shit on your plate, you're overwhelmed and you're gonna get dysregulated. That's how we got here.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, okay. I love that. And if you had anything to say in the end, like about what it takes to recover, what helped you the most, or any final piece of advice for anyone going through this, what would it be?
For me, it was my sticking to a routine and showing up every day. So get a calendar, right? Every day is Groundhog Day, and
Hmm.
make sure you have everything kind of laid out. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be too rigid, because it's there to serve you, not the other way around. For me, it was a lot of ish. So from I don't know, 9 to 10-ish, I was doing my visuals, and from maybe 11 to 12-ish, maybe one, I was doing my walk and talks, and then after that, I was making lunch, and then so a lot of ish.
Hmm.
But as long as you do it and you're not wishy-washy and you're consistent every day
Hmm.
doing the work, you're gonna get there, right? Because the brain will have no choice but to change. So it's the consistency and make sure that you're prepared, right?
Yes.
Because the brain's gonna hijack you. It's gonna win. It has to win. So you got to be willing to be prepared, and it's gonna try to sabotage you.
Hmm.
So on the hard days, people like to sometimes stay in and self-soothe. But if you do one day, you're gonna be doing it for 2 days, and then 3 days, and before you know it, you're back to the old programming.
Yeah.
So the routine becomes a lifeline for the hard days, especially. Those days become prime time to make sure you
Hmm.
stick to the work and keep going.
Yeah, because your brain gets hijacked, like literally shuts down the center that can think rationally when you're in that state. So
Yeah.
you forget like, oh, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Like, how do I signal safety to my body? And if you have that schedule and you're sticking to that routine, then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is just what I do. No matter how I'm feeling, I do this. And that repetition, that consistency is what helps really change that pattern over time.
Yeah. How many times have I sat in the couch and caught myself? I'm like, oh shit, I'm ruminating.
Hmm.
Okay, what time is it? 2 o'clock. Okay, what does my routine say? I'm supposed to go for a walk. Okay, let's go. Let's bring the thoughts with me and just let's go. Let's go. And because it's really hard to get out of that, right? It feels
Hmm.
like you got this big magnet pulling you.
Yes.
So when the more you follow that routine, the more you find when you're on your walk, you're like, oh man, this is so much better. Thank goodness I followed that. Because if I would have got sucked into that rumination day one, day two, day five, day 10, then you're back into revving your nervous system and you're getting stuck and sick again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that you say like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be rigid. It's just that you need to show up every day. You need to be consistent and don't judge yourself if, you're not allowing every second because that's impossible. And if
Exactly.
as long as you follow that schedule.
Yeah, trust me, if I can heal, you can heal. I fucked it up all the time,
Hmm.
right? I even allowed wrong. I did all the things wrong for a long period of time, and I still recovered it. So if I can do it, because I did it wrong a lot,
Hmm.
then you can.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let people know where they can find you. I'll leave some in the show notes below as well, where they can find your YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff. But
Yep.
tell us a bit about, if they want to look more into you and what you do and get some inspiration from you, where can they look?
I'm on. I'm at the Mindful Gardener. Oh, the dogs. I'm at the Mindful Gardener on YouTube and Instagram. So check that out. I got a bunch of videos there. I try to put stuff up a couple times a week. So check it out. And yeah, that's I
Awesome.
think that's it.
Perfect. Well,
Thanks.
thank you so much, Helmut. It was so nice talking to you today, and I'd love to have you back on sometime in the future to dive a bit more into certain topics would be really cool.
Awesome. We should get you on my channel too. That would be great.
Yeah, I would be honored. I would love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Helmut. And there you have it, Helmut's amazing, incredible journey of recovery. Was that not a beautiful story? If that inspired you, make sure you comment down below what really spoke to you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them, and make sure that you hit subscribe because I'm going to be uploading more and more recovery stories in the future. I hope this left you with a sense of hope for your future and your power to heal.